I'm always running around town with my microphone interviewing all sorts of inspiring people. Up next, my interview with British singer-songwriter, I like that one, Nick Moon.
On her feet, she's always gold. Time will pass and she'll never know. We can't be forgotten. Butterfly inside her heart. Honestly, she thought of God. Make disasters happen. Those pretty lies of yours meant to be protective. Smoke under eyes, you're looking gone. Those pretty lies of yours were lost and well respected. Be honest, be careful, belong. And the window's cold. Just be happy that I made today. And all at once I feel you slip away. Oh, the window's cold. Just be happy that I made today. Oh, the window's cold. And all at once I feel you slip away. Cheap, I'm getting low. Look inside, that's a waterfall. Hopeless, waste and swallow. Speak again, soft and slow. Lullaby from a tired home. Oh, oh. You chose who to follow. Those pretty lies of yours meant to be protective. Smoke under eyes, you're looking gone. Those pretty lies of yours were lost and well respected. Be honest, be careful, belong. Just be happy that I made today. Oh, the window's cold. And all at once I feel you slip away. Oh, the window's cold. Just be happy that I made today. Oh, the window's cold. And all at once I feel you slip away.
That's Nick Moon, the track End Gone from his new solo album Circus Love. Nick Moon, formerly of the band Kite, was recently in Japan and we met up for a conversation.
The Guy Perryman Show.
Guy's Guests. At 7:45, time for my conversation with Nick Moon, a lovely gentleman who I interviewed a couple of times over the past few years. He came on the show in the studio here at InterFM a couple of years ago, and a few years ago we also met at Summer Sonic. It was great to catch up with him again. It is wonderful to welcome back to the show Nick Moon. Hello.
Hi there, thank you so much for having me back. It's such a pleasure.
I don't think we've actually spoken properly since Summer Sonic, maybe.
Is that true?
I think so.
Maybe, yeah. Wow.
So,
yeah, I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling we came on your show though, maybe after.
That's what I'm wondering.
But I don't know in which order that was.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a few years, definitely.
Well, it's great to have you back on the show.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Yeah.
Congrats on the brand new, on the solo album Circus Love. Love the title, actually. What's that all about?
Yeah, it's kind of just a phrase I had for a while that I kind of liked the sound of, and it was originally I was going to have the project called that, and then eventually it became something that I used for the album title. It was kind of basically meaning something that's kind of chaotic and a bit crazy, but finding an enjoyment in that and finding like a warmth in that. So that's kind of what it means.
Is that possibly representative of your life or of something else more abstract?
A little bit, but maybe the music as well, kind of trying to do something a bit colourful and interesting and a bit chaotic, but also kind of still having like a nice sort of homely feel to it, I think. That's kind of what the intention was, I think.
It's interesting, as you say, that there is some chaos in the music, but as always, you're continuing on from the Kite sound. It's still this beautiful, dreamy, electronic-inspired music, which I love so much.
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I guess it's always going to have elements of what I've been doing in the past and trying to do some new things involved in that as well. And so hopefully it's something that's kind of like something new, but still something kind of familiar as well.
Was going solo from the Kite project to this project, did you want to do something specifically different? Was there something in your mind you were like, okay, I'm going to go in this direction, or you wanted to continue on the same sort of parallel?
I just started writing maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, because we did the last Kite concert we did was actually at Fuji Rock, so that was maybe 5 years ago, and we were kind of having a little bit of a time away from it, and I was just writing at home without thinking about anything like an album or a project or anything like that. It was just me at home writing, and then I kind of wanted to try doing things maybe a little bit faster with the tempo of songs, and maybe trying different sounds, maybe a bit more pop in places, and eventually it came out that I'd finished a group of songs that I thought would be cool to bring out, so that's kind of where we are now. Yeah.
What are you thinking about when you're writing? Are you thinking, or does it all just sort of flow naturally, do you think? I think
it's kind of, if I try and think too much, I don't think I'll get too much done. So I think it's kind of at home, usually have some ideas, and then usually within a couple of hours, there's something there, usually. Wow. On the other side, sometimes I'll be at home and there'll be 10 hours working on something and it's not going to be used. So there's that whole thing. So yeah, I think if you overthink something, especially in the music side of it, I think it's a disaster for me anyway, personally. But yeah, so it's usually just a simple idea that I can kind of work with and then get something finished.
What about the lyrics? Do you keep notes or journals? Are you sort of going back to words? Are you building on those thoughts?
Yeah, usually as I kind of write almost separately. I'll have sort of sit down and write some words that I've kind of been thinking about, and then bring that towards the music. So sometimes I'll have some ideas for lyrics when I'm writing the actual music. So usually the music's first, but then often it'll be a case of I've got quite a few pads of things where I've been writing about specific things, and I know that I can go back to that as kind of there, prepared sort of thing. So I don't have to sit there thinking, what's this one going to be about? But yeah, so that's good.
Having a conversation with Nick Moon, British singer-songwriter, formerly of the band Kite. He's just released today his new solo album, Circus Love. 7:49 InterFM897. We continue the conversation up next with Nick Moon. Here's another track from the solo release.
Together
That's Nick Moon and the song You and Me from Nick Moon's brand new solo album Circus Love on InterFM897, continuing my conversation with Nick Moon at 7:52. We've got the song titles right in front of us here, and I'm actually wondering what's sort of inspiring the writing. What do you write about? Are you writing about real situations, real things? Is it to go with the dreamy music? Is it more fantastical, your imagination going off?
This one, I kind of shot myself in the foot a bit with these because I was writing without realising that I would release it, so they're quite personal, the songs. And the songs they're all about, I don't really mind talking about it because it's so long ago, I guess, but it was about 6 months after a relationship and that stage. And because I didn't think that I'd never really, it's kind of that weird stage of it being kind of not really, it's something that's always going to be part of you, even though you kind of don't want it to be part of you anymore. And a lot of it is kind of like, it's kind of chronological order as well, which is kind of almost like a bitter, angry stage going through to a relieved stage. So I didn't realise at the time, but I was definitely writing about that, and I didn't think I'd be probably talking about it. So, but it's fine. But yeah, so that's kind of what it's about. It's very personal because I didn't expect it to be talked about.
No, I always think about that with songwriters. I mean, you're letting us read your private journals and diaries.
That's true. I mean, some of my favourite albums have been about like very specific personal things from artists, so it's always nice, I think, if they'll allow us to have like a glimpse of how ridiculous things are for them at that point in time. So yeah.
Well, you've gone from that period. Where are you now?
I'm very happy. I'm very happy. Yeah, I'm good. This is a very it's strange because I feel like the last few years I've grown up quite a bit. I think this particular age I'm at, and it's almost like a little bit of embarrassment looking back at some of the lyrics as well. And I can remember writing them, but I cannot imagine writing that now. Like the lyrics are maybe a little bit bitter and a bit of I was like, you can't be like that, you can't be like that. And it's kind of like a nice growing sort of thing. It's kind of like reading back some embarrassing old diary, I guess, but even though it's only like 4 years ago, but yeah.
Maybe you could write a song about that.
Yeah, true. I might write it back. Keep going. It could be very interesting like that. But yeah, probably the next album will be about that. Probably a big apology for the personal lyrics in this.
Yeah, what happens if this person reads the lyrics?
I don't think she will. We're not in touch anymore, unfortunately. No. Maybe I'll send her it.
We'll say thank you to her for an album.
Yeah, no, inspiring. Yeah, true.
I interviewed Laura Mvula one time and loved her, and she was telling me she wrote a lot of her album about a particular relationship, right. And then but at the end she said, you know what, I didn't get the boy, but I got the album.
Oh, that's very true. Well, it's like that Adele song. It was like her biggest song, as that came from some kind of pain or whatever, but eventually, she's got some fantastic piece of art out of it,
Well, that makes me think too, is it easier to write, I ask this quite a lot, is it easier to write a sad song than it is a happy song?
I think we were thinking about this the other day actually, because I was thinking if I tried to write a sad song, I don't think it would end up sounding too sad. I always think that sad songs come from that's like a kind of just a natural thing, a sad song. But maybe there are probably songwriters who just can knock one out in like an hour, really beautiful. But I feel like it has to have a genuine sad song and it to be believable. I think it has to come from a sad place. Whereas on the other side, I think happy songs, I think you can kind of pretend to write a happy song. I think that's my theory anyway. Don't quote me on that, but yeah. But I think the most beautiful sad songs, I think, come from somewhere special, I think.
I wonder if this is a happy or a sad one. The song is called Something. It's Nick Moon from his new solo album Circus Love, on sale today here in Japan. We continue the conversation with Nick Moon tomorrow on The Guy Perryman Show. 7:56 InterFM897 as I bring you some inspiring people from the world of music every day on the program.
Be the harp of your brain that works. Be the seam but without those looks. Eyes to my eyes, shake out the pride. Eyes in a need to rush. And see the way that my legs go first. See yourself in an open hearse. Be fathering, thunder and sheen. Make for the fastest love. Something has got to be. Someone's all over me. Something has got to be. Someone's all over me. Do a dance with the devil's gone. Full of science, but you think I'm strong. Wake up the night, volcano. embrace for the silence. And to my surprise, I'm lost in the kindness.
Shake it up.
Something has got to be. Someone's all over me. Something's got to be.
Happy or sad, certainly dreamy. Something from Nick Moon and his new album Circus Love, released today here in Japan. Tomorrow, Nick talks about his live tour and the shows coming up that you can see him live in concert in Tokyo. That takes us up to the top of the hour. Full weather details for your Wednesday. And Maya Sun coming up next. Coming up next, my interview continues with Nick Moon. Nick Moon, formerly of the band Kite. His solo album Circus Love went on sale yesterday, featuring that track Water.
The Guy Perryman Show.
Guy's Guests. 7:40. 7:42 InterFM897 Thursday edition of GPS, and I met up with Nick Moon recently. He was in Japan for a promo tour and did a couple of live shows kicking off his solo career. Nick is going to be back in Japan. He's got a whole bunch of very interesting dates coming up. We're going to find out more right now. This seems like a very personal project. Is it a very different beast now, the solo world, compared to being with the band?
It is, yeah, it is. Especially, I noticed it yesterday because when I played the first live sort of rehearsals and things, then you start and writing it as well. It was just me. I recorded everything at home on my own, and usually we'd do things together and then go to a studio, and it was a whole big sort of thing. But this was kind of just me, like, locked in, which is kind of great, but also sometimes a little bit scary because you've got to make the decisions yourself, and you've got to tell yourself to go to bed sometimes, and you've got all these kind of things. So yeah, so it's kind of, but it's very different. It's very like rewarding, but also kind of a little bit nerve-wracking, I guess. Everything there is me. So like, if someone goes, "Oh, I hate this song," I'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." That is definitely my fault. But yeah, no, it's definitely something that I'd like to do because it's a challenge as well, which is always good in music, I think.
And guess gives you the freedom to go exactly where you want with the music.
That's right, yeah. And lyrics as well, because I think they're more personal than I would dared write in Kite, because it was always friends from school. So like, even though the lyrics were I put a lot of thought into them, I was never going to bring a song about, say, a relationship, because then I'd have to explain it to them all, and that would be really horribly embarrassing for people in their early 20s. But so yeah, so this was kind of, I guess, it was easier to do something like that, because at the time I probably thought this was just having fun and expressing myself. So yeah.
And you play everything on here. How many instruments do you play?
Well, I only really play like guitar and piano, and then like a couple of synths. A lot of it is kind of like programming with like a drum machine and things like that. A lot of it's electronic sounds and samples and things. But yeah, I'm kind of like, I like to write songs on the piano first and try and get a vocal melody, and then I'll usually tend to add things afterwards, like a recipe sort of thing. But sometimes I'll start with like drums and things, or electronic music, but most of the time I try and write the verse and the chorus and get that in my head first, and then I'll know what I'm sort of dealing with. I can make a snap decision on whether I want to keep it or not, or delete it.
What about performing live? Do you love performing live?
It's been really fun. It's been really fun. Like, the two shows, completely different already. I've done two shows and they've been completely different. So it's like, because like the first show went exactly as I wanted it to do, and the second show had like some slight technical problems, but it was still really fun, because it was like, right, it's just me here. I need to figure this out. I'm going to try and like improvise and do something, work my way around this broken piece of equipment, which is what happened. But it's very like, also, again, the same as the writing stage, it's kind of scary because it's just me. I turn around to expect to see a drummer, and there was no drummer there. There's no one there. And everybody's eyes in the audience are looking at you. There's no one looking at the handsome guitarist or the handsome bass player. So it's all on you. But yeah, it's fun.
the handsome you.
Oh, maybe, yeah. But yeah, so so it's definitely, and it's going to get, I can feel it's going to get a lot better as well. It's kind of like a new thing. So I'm so used to playing in a band where everyone knew what they were doing, everyone had their part, and we knew the set, and everyone was kind of well drilled. But this time it's more kind of an interesting new personal thing, so I'm hoping it to be kind of different each night as well.
What's it like having the spotlight on you on the stage when everyone is looking just at you?
I kind of try to forget that sometimes, because I'm not particularly confident sort of front man. I don't think I'm the typical front man. I'm not getting on stage and going, "Come on guys, let's get this going." I kind of just want to try and make some kind of, I don't know, nice atmosphere on stage that the audience can like listen to. That's kind of my game plan. I don't think too much about, not to like disrespect the audience, but I'm not kind of like trying to get the party started, you know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's not really your style, is it?
No, probably not. No, I want to try and make something that they can sort of remember. I guess that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. Having a conversation with Nick Moon, who was in Japan recently, talking about his brand new solo album Circus Love, which went on sale yesterday here. We continue the conversation up next at 7:46.
Street, you're my dear.
some dreamy tunes and the song Ghoul from the album Circus Love. That is Nick Moon, his solo album Circus Love, released yesterday here in Japan. And I continue my conversation with Nick. How about festivals? Of course, you played Fuji Rock and Summer Sonic. Again, is that a very different experience to being in a smaller live house?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. They're completely different beasts, I guess. And but I do enjoy I like playing small live houses maybe as much, I think.
Oh.
I mean, Summer Sonic is like, and Fuji Rock, like crazy kind of experience, kind of big, euphoric, like amazing thing. But then sometimes you want to be able to sort of feel like it's, you can feel the audience a little bit more. But they've both got amazing sort of aspects. But yeah, in an ideal world, you do both, I guess. And you get to be very lucky and you get to do that. It's amazing. So,
how's your summer looking?
It's good. This summer's looking pretty amazing, to be honest. It's like I'm doing. I'm coming back next month to do some like Tower Records things in April, like some in-store events.
Oh, cool.
In Tokyo and Osaka and Nagoya. And then May, I'm doing a festival in Yokohama called Green Room Festival.
Yes.
Which I'm really excited for. And then in June and July, I'm going to be opening for Asian Kung Fu Generation,
really?
like all around Japan.
Wow.
Which is like 22 dates.
Oh.
So I'm going to places that I never even dreamed of going to, like Hokkaido and playing in like Sendai and all these places. So it's going to be amazing. I'm really excited for that. So that's, at the moment, that's all that's planned. So,
Okay.
But that's enough for now. That's more than enough for me. I'm very happy for that, yeah.
You've actually been spending a bit of time in Japan. What do you love about being here?
I've never been able to answer this question too well. It's just, we always loved coming here. It was like always the place. If we were touring around, we were always excited to be coming to Japan. There's especially for music, the sort of music that we used to play, and maybe it's what this is like. It's kind of there's a patience and a appreciation of the audience. I think there's a genuine interest in kind of like the delicate intricacies of music, I think, here. I'm sure that we do get that as well in the UK. It's probably a little bit different. And yes, and it's just, I really enjoy the culture and the food, and I'm trying to learn the language because I think it sounds nice and all these kind of things. So any opportunity I've got to be here, I'm like jumping on that, and I'm like, thank you so much for having me, and doing my thing. So yeah.
Well, if you've got 22 dates on this tour, good time to study.
I know, yeah. Well, from now till then, I'm going to every day. Mainichi benkyou shiteimasu.
Oh.
So I'm going to like try and be able to speak at least a little bit on stage, so that I can sort of show my appreciation without sounding like a silly like English sort of. I planned like a little thing to say on stage 2 nights ago, but I cowered it out at the last minute. It's too scary. But yeah.
27 years later, I'm still making a fool of myself.
I'm so jealous of you, to be honest. I'm so jealous. I need some lessons or some tips. Please.
Not from me.
Oh, really?
This is the morning show. Are you a morning person, or do you have a morning routine?
I am a morning person. I definitely didn't used to be. I definitely used to stay awake till like 4 or 5 in the morning in my early 20s and things. But now I have pretty good routine. I'm up at like 7 every day in the UK, and then usually sleep by like 10 or 11.
Please wake up at 7 here in Tokyo. You can listen to my radio show.
I'd love to. I listen to a little bit in the taxi. I told you. And I want to, because I think it's a good way to learn of the English and the Japanese. So yeah, I really like that. So yeah, I'll be listening. I'll be tuning in.
Yippee, and I'll be playing your music.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Guy.
Nick Moon, it's been a real pleasure. Have a fantastic time with all the live shows coming up, and I'm going to get the music on the air. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
There you have a conversation with Nick Moon. He was formerly with the band Kite in the UK. I interviewed them when they were performing Summer Sonic. He's also performed Fuji Rock, and now he's about to hit the road here in Japan with 22 dates across the country. Amazing. You can check the Nick Moon website with all the information. His debut solo album, Circus Love, went on sale yesterday. I gave you a bunch of tracks yesterday and again today. And Nick will actually be coming into the InterFM studios this afternoon to have a chat with George and Shouder. Have a listen, InterFM897. It's 7:54. Good morning.
peace. When I get up, when I get down, dream of laughing and swallow, troubled by the sound. We all think you're so worthless and loud. I know, you just need a crowd. Gesture sticks to the ground. Believe in what you hear will bring you down. I wanna be like this with my hands down low. And when you talk you spare clever words control. And I won't be caught far from home, 'cause I know you are suffer left alone.
Dreamy music for your Thursday morning from Nick Moon. Circus Love is the new album featuring that track, Story. On InterFM897, heading up to the top of the hour. Thanks a million for all your messages and requests. Takahiro 1975 was right. Mame-san Kumasachi enjoying the music this morning. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you very much. Maruji-san, you're doing the housework while listening to the radio. And I love your flowers. Beautiful photo on Twitter. Thanks. Keep those messages and requests coming. gps@interfm.jp or on Twitter, gps897. We'd love to hear from you. Full weather details for your Thursday coming up next.